Hi, back to KennieSuperstar. Today I'm gonna do another chess video. This is about pins and skewers, two tactics. So we're gonna start with the moves first, okay? Pawn e4, pawn e5, knight f3, knight f6, and after pawn d5, which knight c3 and pawn d5, which I don't recommend, but now white takes. How about if black doesn't take because they don't want to move the queen out early? They play a move like bishop to c5, which is kind of a good move. Now, how about if the queen moves to e2? This pawn is in a pin. Why? Because if this pawn it could move, but see, it's in a line with the king. It can't take. See, you know why? How about if I play a move like pawn d4? It can't take, because if it does take, you're putting on king check, which is checkmate. That is why it's called a pin. This is called an absolute pin. Pins are mostly used for long, far-ranged moves, but knights and pawns cannot make pins. But the queen, the bishop, and the rook can all make pins. That's half of the pieces in the chessboard, because in chess there's 6 pieces. What are skewers? Let's go to the end game. Let's go put some pawns there, and then say these pawns are there, and then we'll take some big pieces off the board. Let's just say that white has no queen, and the queen is on the square a5. Now after pawn to d7, now the black king needs to run away because the black king can't take. Now if it moves to square e8, now we could play d8 and we can turn into a queen. Now after queen takes queen, I forgot the bishop over here. Now this is called an absolute skewer. Black king needs to move, maybe it takes this pawn, and then we get the queen in the next turn. That's an example of skewer. Right? I'm gonna show you another example of skewering. It could also be with the queen and the queen also. Let's say this king is protecting this pawn. You won't waste the queen for that, because queen is 9 points and the bishop's 3 points. So the queen will run away. If the queen runs, we take that bishop on the next turn. But if the queen doesn't run and plays like a move like bishop to f4, we can take the queen on the next turn. So that's kind of a skewer also. How about another example of pins? So, let's see this occasion actually. In this place, it's not an absolute pin, but it's a relative pin, because you could still move your knight. See, if you move your knight, you'll just lose your queen, but there's no rules that it's called that not to take away the queen. But if you shouldn't move your knight, except if you really need it, or if you understand? But if you actually have a chance, don't play king to e2. That makes it an absolute pin. So what you should do with this position, you can play king to f2, and then after king to f2, this bishop has to stay there, even if it moves back to keep the pin, or it could stay there. The bishop can stay there. Now if they play a move like c3, we can play king g3. Now the bishop has to move it. If it keeps the pin at h5, we play king h4. Now see, the bishop has to go here. Now we actually drove away a bishop and saving our knight from the pin. Now if you really want to attack that bishop later, if you want to use your king, don't play king to h5 because the bishop is controlling that square. So we could play king to g4 or knight to e5. See this example? You can get out of pins because even though you can't be in a pin, it's not like you stay there forever. Like in this position, you can actually free the pin in many moves. Like if they play pawn to b3, we play king to f4, and after if they move their king closer, we can play. It's hard because if we play pawn e7, the black king could move to f7, and then how about if we really want a queen and we play pawn to h8, and you can take a second queen, but how about if you turn into a rook? And then after take, now you don't really have that much place. So what do you do when you have this position? Play this. Actually, you need to do something with this. You need to play this actually very sneaky move, pawn to d7. That was close to e7, but d7, why is it better? Even though after you give away that pawn, now we can move our king to g5, and now if the bishop keeps the pin to h7, we play king to h6. Now they need to go to g1. Because if they take the knight, we take, and that's 3 points for 3. And if you'll see in this chance after, how about if the black king takes? Well, you still know that white is better because even though white has no pawns, white still has a queen. So it's a higher chance for white to win. And how about if these pawns were off the board? Let's say pawn to d2, and then they play queen to e2, and after turns into a queen, which they shouldn't after take, and now this pawn, if they play king closer, you know what's going to happen after that. Pawn is going to take it, and you're going to use a king and queen checkmate. But if you don't know the king and queen checkmate, you should watch my video on king and queen checkmate. So that's all for today, and don't forget to check out our channel, KennieSuperstar. Bye bye.